Ben Chilwell and Raheem Sterling for Jadon Sancho to Chelsea, deal or no deal? Meanwhile, Scott McTOMINAY wants a payout just like Aaron Wan-Bissaka did. Could that delay the deal to Napoli? Welcome to the United Hot Sport. My name is Webb. This is a late night, evening, or morning, depending on where you're catching me from, update about what's going on at our beloved club as we do count down to the arrival of Manuel Ugarte 5 days before the end of the summer transfer window. Now, here's the thing. The latest that is coming in is confirming that Scott McTominay, who we know already Man United club to club, Man United and Napoli agreed terms for to join Napoli for 30 million euros with a sell-on clause for Manchester United, but subject to personal terms agreed. Now, that was not explained in detail before. Now, this is the detail of that clause, subject to personal terms. Scott McTominay, just like Aaron Wan-Bissaka did, you do recall before Wan-Bissaka joined West Ham, he had to agree a payout with Manchester United. And it was not until this payout was sorted that Manchester United was able to finally let go of Aaron Wan-Bissaka and be able then to move and go for Nusail Mazraoui and Mathis Delit after Aaron Wan-Bissaka joined West Ham. So he was paid, he was given some cash to leave. So literally, it was like you're being paid to be sold, for lack of a better description. Now, the same case is with Scott McTominay because Scott had 1 year left on his contract. He could have stayed at Man United until the end of the next summer and he was happy to do that. With Man United desperate for money and choosing to sell him now, he was never going to accept to go to a Napoli without him getting a share of the so much money that Napoli is paying Man United. And probably this is part of the reason why Man United was holding out for 30 million euros because they felt maybe if part of that is going to go to the player, then, it makes sense if they get the full figure, the full amount, because then that would not really cost affect what they get as a net for themselves from the deal, because probably Scott would take about 5 million out of that. So because if Scott did not want to leave, he could have been happy to start United, run out his contract, and move for free to go to where he wants. But now the fact that they're agreeing on a payout, it means that he was not probably very excited about the idea of Napoli. But if they're paying him to go there, it's okay. So that's what is happening. This could not take long. This perhaps might not take long because the figure I think is decent. This is what Man United wanted, and they must have calculated the possibility of Scott wanting a payout in their pricing of the player or valuation of the player. So that's what's going on. But I don't think this is going to be a back and forth because we are dealing with a player from the United Academy. Now, away from that, there is a report that is seeming serious. We know that Juventus is the only club to make direct contacts with Man United over Jadon Sancho. We also know that Man United were in talks with Paris Saint-Germain, but we are not very certain of how deep the talks were in terms of Sancho. It is mostly with Manuel Ugarte, but PSG and Sancho spoke and agreed personal terms in case he were to go there. But Juventus contacted Man United directly for Jadon Sancho. Now, we also know that Chelsea are monitoring the situation of Jadon Sancho, and it is still open. Never mind PSG and the step they made, and Juventus and their direct contacts with Man United. It is still open that Sancho could leave. I will leave, but also could go anywhere. Now, reports are suggesting that Chelsea, who are desperate to lose some of their so many players in the squad, because Enzo Maresca even confirmed this after their 6-2 drubbing of Wolves, he came out and confirmed that they indeed need to deal with the economy. That's what he called it, the economics of the club, because they've got to fit into the Premier League profitability and sustainability rules. So they have got to sell or let go of players. So apparently, in their attempt to get Sancho, they intend to include Ben Chilwell and Raheem Sterling in the offer to Man United. Now, this sort of sounds a certain type of way. It feels a certain type of way, if I'm being honest. Because, first of all, Man United needs a left back. Ben Chilwell is a left back. He's 27, he's a Champions League winner. He was, of course, part of the Premier League winning squad of Leicester City. Never mind him not playing a single game that season with Claudio Ranieri. Raheem Sterling is a big team player. That's why he's one of the top earners in the league. He's a big time player. And the only issue probably would be his wages. I'm not certain Man United would come close to matching his wages in any way. But let's assume Man United can afford these two in that swap deal, because Raheem Sterling is that kind of winger who, first of all, at 27 is not old. It's even, by the way, shocking how Raheem Sterling is only 27, considering how long he has been playing for big clubs. You can imagine for how long he played at Liverpool, then how long he played at Man City, then Chelsea, but he's still just 27, meaning he started so young. He has been part of so many big clubs. But the thing for me is there could be a lot that Raheem Sterling could give Man United in terms of creativity on the right, because that's where he can play. Of course, can also be inverted running on the left, and he gives you a different dimension because of his natural pace as a player. There is a lot that these young players like Ahmad and Garnacho can learn from him. He can give us a balance of course, building a squad, but also having some fun players who have won multiple titles elsewhere. Then for Ben Chilwell is where the disquiet is. And the thing about Raheem Sterling too is he's not really an injury prone player. I think he's always there. He's for the most time he's always going to be fit. The thing about Ben Chilwell though is that for me Chilwell, his best season at Liverpool was under Thomas Tuchel when they won the Champions League. And in that season, Thomas Tuchel was using him as a wing back, an advanced wing back. I don't think Eric Ten Hag, because Eric Ten Hag, Enzo Maresca dropped Ben Chilwell because he did not fit into how he wants to play, and the same way Enzo Maresca wants his left backs to play. Why he chose Cucurella and Viega, the new signing, is because they can invert and add into the midfield, can add into the middle. You see how Nusail Mazraoui and Diogo Dalot do it, flying in from those fullback positions. Now, my feeling is if the reason he's leaving, Maresca is letting go of Chilwell, is because he cannot really fit into that kind of style where the fullbacks have got to cut in and add to the middle. He's more of a wing back. I don't think he makes sense for United. Probably doesn't. And even if United is desperate for a natural left back, he probably does not fit the profile of the kind of left back Man United would need. So this is why this offer would have sounded juicy and exciting, because if you're giving us Raheem Sterling and Ben Chilwell, a winger and a left back for Jadon Sancho, who we find surplus to requirements at United, looks like a good deal. But going technical about it, you don't think really Chilwell in particular makes sense for United, considering his playing style and how Eric Ten Hag would want his left back to play. So with Raheem Sterling, the issue mostly for me would be, I think, about expense, because if we have been struggling to sell Manuel Ugarte because we need to let go of players and clear our wage bill, how about if you're going to bring in a player like Sterling, who has got 3 years left on his contract at Chelsea, earning nearly 400,000 quid per week? How much are we going to pay him? So even if we got him for free, he was just offered to us in a direct swap deal for the two players. I think his wages would still be way too high. And even if we probably could take a pay cut to stay and in the Premier League and play for Man United, because like I said, he's a big team player, and at 27 he should be feeling he can still go on and play for a big team. Like he was saying, and him and his agent were all saying he has been preparing well. He had an early preseason and stuff. I think yes, Raheem Sterling can make sense, add something to United. I'm just not sure that's the kind of player we can afford, considering where we and what we're trying to do. We are trying to manage finances. You don't bring in another big earner who is really not in a hungry stage of his career. It will be a gamble, honestly. Whereas he's just 27 and he's proven the fact that Chelsea are seeing him surplus requirements. I mean, it shows he's a gamble. So you don't bring such an expensive gamble to your dressing room. Another English expensive gamble, if I would be precise. So that's why I would think, yes, Chelsea, with all due respect, seems a flattering offer, but I don't think it's one Man United should take. So for me, Raheem Sterling and Ben Chilwell to Man United for Jadon Sancho to Chelsea, no deal. The deal for me should be that club that will come trying to take Jadon Sancho, even if it's not immediately on a permanent loan with an obligation to buy. That would be the perfect deal for Man United to completely get rid of Jadon Sancho if we don't get a direct immediate buyer. The best would be buying him permanently, which might be difficult now, but a loan without an obligation to buy is the second next best realistic option for Man United, for Sterling himself, and all the parties that will be involved. That's my honest opinion. My name is Webb. This is, of course, expect, by the way, more to come in the coming days. Chido Obi will be confirmed as a Man United player. It's happening in the coming days. And of course, we expect a whole lot of other things to go on at Manchester United. My name is Webb. Like, share, subscribe, and I'll be back, of course, tomorrow with more. Cheers.